Hello, Pretty Girl alumni. Welcome to the lesson. Class is in session. Please grab some snacks, some tea, anything to keep you company, and let's get into today's topic. So, if you've heard of a misanthropic person or a misanthrope, then this video might come as a surprise to you. But for those who don't know what a misanthrope is, it's a person who dislikes humankind and avoids human society, all right? Now, the title of the video is called The Power of a Misanthropic Woman. And I just wanted to add nuance to this definition because I feel like the dictionary gives very gray and white definitions, but you can exhibit some characteristics of a misanthropic person, and because human beings are nuanced and they are complex, then you get to pick and choose which misanthropic traits you want. For example, I have mentioned in my previous video that one of your go-to emotions when you're a misanthrope is indifference. So today we're going to be getting into this topic of the power of a misanthropic woman, why they hold so much power, and why they actually progress in life further than, I would say personally, like very socialized women and women who play into the stereotypes that patriarchy wants them to play into. So when you are a misanthropic woman, you are seen as not soft. Your energy comes across as not necessarily aggressive, but very intimidating. Very intimidating because you do not entertain nonsense and you do not give your energy away freely. So people know not to step to you unless they have something intelligent to say. So let's think about how society socializes women. What are the characteristics they give to women from childhood? So they demand us to be nurturing, to be super empathetic to the point where it's actually toxic to us. We're taught to empathize with abusers and violent men who do violent things to people because society tells us, oh, but that person is also hurting. But that doesn't give the right to neglect your hurt. So they teach women to be overly empathetic. And I think this is so it's easier for women to trauma bond with abusive men, and it's harder for them to leave abusive circumstances. They want you to be soothing, and the reason why they want this is because they know patriarchy and men know that what they do to women is very anger inducing. A lot of women have actually gone to jail for murdering their abusers or defending themselves from an abuser, and it ends up becoming a murder case, which I think is totally unfair, but let me not get into it. So they want you to be nurturing and soothing and self-sacrificing because they want to have the freedom to do whatever they want to you. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be reflected on their bad characteristics. They just want to live their life on their terms, and then they want the benefits that come with you, but they don't want to give much in return. So when you are a misanthropic woman, you understand the dynamics of the world. You understand the propaganda that is put in your face from childhood. You recognize it and you opt out of that script completely, entirely. You stop letting society tell you how you should react as a woman, who you should be, who you should give your time to, and what you should focus on, and what should be your priorities. Because if you think about it, women from a young age aren't really taught to prioritize their ambitions and their goals and their passions and their happiness and their single lives. We're taught to think about marriage and family and having children and your in-laws, and you need to be smart enough to be competent and interesting, But notice how it's all male centered. It's not you need to be pretty because it will open more doors for you. It's you need to be pretty because a husband doesn't want an ugly wife, or you need to be intellectual enough, you need to have a personality in order to not bore the man in the marriage, otherwise he's going to step out. And to all those rhetorics, I say throw them out the window, because this will not give you what they promise you'll get from men. If you follow the script of being a pick-me verbatim, you will end up in the most toxic relationships you could possibly find yourselves in. When you are misanthropic, it is easy for you to leave situations that don't serve you. So people know, because people can see a pattern, not just from, they don't even need to know your past. They can tell by your energy, the way you move, your aura, that, oh, this person is very self-aware and very self-prioritizing, and I better not do anything that is going to make her choose between herself and me, because I can guarantee that she will choose herself. So the misanthropic woman's power lies in clarity of vision. She is not blinded by the lies that the community puts onto her, the pressure to conform. She sees people and social dynamics for what they are. She understands it, and that's very intellectual in my opinion, because if you're able to look past manipulation, especially from childhood, if you're able to look past manipulation and gaslighting and all these psychological torments that a lot of people are like in their deathbeds and couldn't even recognize, then that makes you really intelligent. And this is why when you gain this clarity and you start moving in that way, this is why they come for you even more, because you're not meant to be writing your own scripts. You're meant to follow the script we gave you. Another thing is that she is very resistant to exploitation. So she doesn't fall into traps laid by other people, like overgiving, self-sacrificing, self-erasure, or attaching her worth to other people's validation, because she can validate herself. She doesn't need anyone for any of her needs. So she is able to not come from a place of desperation. And she knows her worth. So if she does something, she will not do something unless it is going to be reciprocated, or that energy is going to be given back. She does not give away her energy freely. She gives with a price. You have to reciprocate my energy. If I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And not on some keeping score. It's just someone who wants to reciprocate energy, because there are so many people who are energy vampires and just attach, especially men and pick-me women. They just attach to pretty women for social status, for an ego boost, for whatever reason, to be able to suction off her energy and drain her of her energy. And I've noticed this with a lot of people who don't contribute to my life. And not to be judgmental or stuff, I think people have their own opinions, and that's fine. But I've noticed that a lot of non-individual thinkers, so a lot of the sheep, they love attaching to pretty women and then ciphering all your talking points, your viewpoints, and they like to almost become a chameleon and be a direct reflection of you. And to me, this is so weird. To me, this is actually scary, and it just reminds me of like Superfan. It reminds me of those Selena cases, and like just people become so obsessed with you and they copy your personality. And with a misanthropic woman, she will not fall into this trap, because she is not afraid to cut people off easily, because she will always put herself first. She is also unshakable in her independence. She knows why she is independent, okay? And she doesn't expect, this is the most important part, she is misanthropic, so she does not expect good things from other people. She does not expect goodness from others or kindness from others, because the reality of the world is that most people will not do things out of the kindness of their hearts. It is attached to some ulterior motive or some selfish motive, self-serving motive. So why would you play fair in a world that's literally cheating and unfair and trying to one up you? Why would you put yourself up for a setup, right? And this is why the internal validation is so important, because it's not just about money independence, like financial freedom and financial independence. Because if you're financially free, we see this so many times with men. Like, if you're financially free, but like mentally you still rely on how other people see you for validation, you're going to use that money to please people. We see the men buying sections in the club, popping bottles, soliciting women, going on to OnlyFans, trying to fly out girls. You see this all the time. You even see women who are rich and they are living with a homosexual who is rude to her, who is lazy, does not clean the house. And because her self-worth is still attached to a romantic relationship, she is unable to leave that situation. And until she does, it will keep her stuck in a place of emotional distress. And this is what society notices about people, is that if you're in a state of distress, it is easier to manipulate you by giving you solutions that sound good to you in the moment, that sound, like fairy tale solutions. I call them fairy tale solution, propaganda solutions. So you're easier to manipulate, because if stress, stress is such an intense emotion. So you're going to do anything to relieve that stress. And with a misanthrope, they are able to regulate their own emotions. They're able to validate themselves. And that's why they don't fall for the capitalistic ideology of just, oh, you need this to be the person who you want to become. You need that. No, you already have all the tools you need to become the person you want to become. And this journey, you need to navigate it on your own. There's no one who can give you a step-by-step blueprint or what you need of how to become the person you want to become. Only you can do that for yourself. And ironically, I've noticed that when you become more misanthropic as a woman, oh my God, people get drawn to you so much. And this is like a double-edged sword, because, I've met some really cool, like-minded people through this attitude, which I would not have met before if I was still in my pick-me ways. And we are still very good friends till this day, and we still keep in contact, and we still elevate each other till this day. It's a relationship where we both pour into each other, and everyone is giving their best, not just one-sided, because I used to get into a lot of one-sided relationships because I felt like I needed to compensate for being a woman. That's what they teach you. Women are inferior, so you need to overcompensate by self-sacrificing. So when you don't give your energy easily, people see it as rare, and they want to know you even more. They gravitate towards you even more because you're intriguing, you're a mystery. So this is just my 2 cents on the power of a misanthropic woman from my experiences as well. This has done wonders for me. This has changed my entire brain chemistry, and it has actually helped me be resilient, persistent, independent, and grow up so much quicker than when I was still relying on people for advice or to tell me what to do. And of course, it is isolating. It's very isolating, but it's so liberating. The freedom you feel when you literally do not care about what other people think about you, and you're just doing what's best for yourself. Because like I always say, the people who matter will get it. A lot of the people that talk will be people who hate on you because they want to be on your level, and they feel threatened, and they feel intimidated. the same thing. An empty vessel makes a lot of noise. Same thing with people who feel like, they're empty up there. They don't really have their own thoughts. They don't really have their own path. They don't know what to do. That's why they're watching other women and competing with other women. You should not have time to compete with other women. You should be focused on yourself. So if you're competing with a woman, and it's not like in a setting where you can actually elevate each other, it's not a healthy competition, like maybe in school, maybe you're both competing for cum laude, or maybe in a job you're both competing for that CEO position. That's beautiful. That's great. I encourage that by all means, because that's what they actually teach men. They teach men to compete with each other, and that's why they get to the top positions and they stay there. Obviously, also because they keep women out of those systems. But with the breakthrough in modern society, we're inching closer and closer to that top spot. But the reason why they want you to compete with women for male attention, not for anything that's going to elevate you, is because they don't want you in their positions. They don't want you to share the top spot, because when they're at the top, it's easier to dominate you. So do you want to be dominated? Do you want to be a puppet? Ask yourself that. That is it for today, Pretty Girl Alumni. I really enjoyed this topic and I hope you did as well. Let me know in the comment section below where you are listening in from, and I hope to see you in the next one. Like and subscribe if you want more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.